All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sarah King, and I am with Del Mar College's Student Enrollment Center. Thank you for joining us for our new series, Lunch and Learn. Today, we're going to be speaking with the Director of Financial Aid, Mr. Joseph Ruiz, who's going to be talking about our financial aid process, any federal, state, or campus updates that our counselors, parents, and students should know to be successful through the financial aid process. We are recording this video so that we can send it out to our counselors and community partners at the end in case you are not able to join us today. For those who are here, we appreciate you being with us, and please feel free to use the chat feature to ask any questions you may have. You can also unmute yourself. There's a little microphone icon where you can unmute yourself if you have any questions throughout the session as well. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ruiz, and he will get started with all the updates you need to know about Del Mar College's financial aid process.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, most definitely. First and foremost, to introduce myself, my name is Joseph Ruiz, Director of Financial Aid here at Del Mar, and I'm really excited to be able to participate in these particular events. And the idea about financial aid, really not much has changed. You fill out a FAFSA, you get awarded, and then or submit any additional documents you need to submit. Now, some of the biggest updates or biggest changes is the federal government, as well as the state government, is issuing out more and more financial resources to help students navigating this thing that we've been going through, called the pandemic. So there is an abundance of financial aid monies that the government is actually helping students with, in addition to Pell Grant, in addition to federal supplemental education opportunity grant, in addition to the TEOG grant or Texas Education Opportunity Grant. There are additional resources as well. So definitely, I think if students were looking at an opportunity to maybe attend a school and go for free, well, it's a very, very distinct possibility, always at the community college level because of our affordability. But debt, nonetheless, it's important. If you haven't done a FAFSA for 21, 22 yet, please encourage your students to do so. It's so important for them to get that application in. Once that happens, make sure they put Del Mar College as one of their school choices. Even if they don't end up, don't have any, aspirations, or they're not thinking they're coming to Del Mar, we do not mind being a backup plan, because life happens between now and say fall, and they decide, you know what, we're going to just stay home, get a good solid foundation at Del Mar College. Because if you can make it at Del Mar, you can make it anywhere. Very rigorous academic program. So if you come here and you're successful, well, then it'll just springboard you on to transfer on to, say, one of the local four-year institutions, or if you want to go off anywhere in the state or abroad. But definitely, I want to encourage students and parents to get their FAFSA in. That's number one, the big one. If they didn't choose Del Mar College, 003563 is our school code. Please let them go in there and add our code and have their results sent here. Again, there's funding available, additional funding for the federal government, from the federal government. So we have them submit a FAFSA application. Now, if they want to come this summer, there's also monies for summer. That's going to be a 2020, 2021 FAFSA, and they would use their 2018 tax information. Again, just as we, been going through the last 4 or 5 years now, the federal government is using prior years tax information. So for 21, 22, you would submit 2019 taxes. For 2021, you would use 2018 tax returns. Which have been done, hopefully, for sure by this point. So you want to get that FAFSA in. Now, in addition to that, I think one of the biggest questions that's coming up right now is in 2019, our income was really high, but because of COVID-related issues. My dad's lost his job, or my mom's lost her job, or my mom got sick and she was out for 8 months. I mean, just there's been a million different things that have transpired because of this pandemic, unfortunately, for families. Now, the biggest question is, well, can we do a special circumstance, or is there a way to reflect this current income status as opposed to 2019? Absolutely. But when initially submitting the FAFSA, you have to submit it with what you have. For 2019, if you're doing 21, 22, submit it. If 2019 was a stellar year, but 2021 has been, and 2020 and 2021 have been a nightmare. Okay, we understand. Life has happened over the last year. So what you would do then is, and I'm going to actually share my screen so that you guys know exactly how to navigate. So I hope you can see our screen now. So when you go to Del Mar, this is delmar.edu, students would click on current students, and here's just a plethora of links that they can link onto. But of course, financial aid gets its own button because it's all about the money. So if you click on that, this is our main webpage. We have, and let's say you can't come to a FAFSA event. Let's say you can't, but you still need some help and you don't want to come to campus. We've created this how-to video. It's a YouTube video on how to fill out your FAFSA. Feel free to click on it. It is narrated by our very own Kayla Lopez, who is our outreach coordinator. So definitely you can jump on there. It's very easy to understand. She takes her time. She did a great job with that. But these yellow links kind of give you a bunch of information on tuition and fees, disbursement, financial literacy workshops, SAP standards. But if I want to submit a special circumstance, I would click on here, forms and other documents, and then click on view all financial aid forms and documents. This is the list. So if you had an issue for 2021, this upcoming academic year, you click on forms, and the one you're looking for is special circumstances application. So you would click on that, and it's a PDF form that you can complete. If you have the capabilities, you can complete it, print it, and send it to us. We are working on updating our forms to be able to submit electronically, but at this point, it's something that that you have to just either print it out and do it by hand, or you can fill it out online. But basically, this is a, what happened? What is a special circumstance? Well, involuntary loss of income. If your parent lost a job, yeah, we understand that's not, that was a circumstance beyond your control, so you would submit this form. Let's say, for some reason your parents recently divorced, so it's only down to one parent income. Heaven forbid, it was a death of a parent or spouse, so the income went way down. But then also a one-time income. So let's say that for some reason, through the pandemic, mom and dad pulled out, a big chunk of their 401k or something to help, survive. Well, there may be a possibility of submitting that as a special circumstance, because it wasn't an income that you're going to have all the time. It was a one-time lump sum income. So we would need, those are the reasons, we would need a type letter or, detailing of the circumstance. This happened, it was beyond my control. We would need a copy of the students, spouses, or parents, if applicable, 2018 tax return. For 2021, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the 2021 document. And then all other required documentation requests about financial aid office. So for the most part, if it's an involuntary loss of income, we're going to need a final paycheck stub. We're going to need something, some sort of proof that you were, let go due to a reduction of force, or just some sort of announcement of where you actually, your parent or whomever had actually lost their job, and we'll need proof of that. And then we would just ask you some questions. Okay, in 2019, what has been the student's income, spouse, parent one, parent two, or just parent one? If there's no spouse, but I would suggest don't leave anything blank, put zeros if there's nothing. So let's say I was a student, well, I was in high school, I didn't have a job. Okay, so all this would be zero. And of course, I'm not married, I'm in high school. Okay, so all these would be zero. And then parent one, okay, what was the income earned from working in 2019 and also 2020? Was there any welfare benefits, veterans benefits, unemployment benefits? Any kind of income that you guys receive would be here. And then at the end, you would tally it up, put the totals. And what we would do as a financial aid office is we would take 2019 income information and actually make it reflect what is on the actual, what the actual income was for those particular years. So it's something that we do internally. It's not something that you should do on the FAFSA, because if you put in the numbers and they're not matching 2019, then it's gonna cause a red flag, and you'll be selected for a review process called verification, which is not a big deal. We'll fix it that way. But you can't put your current income information because it's a lot lower than it was before. You go with what you have and let the financial aid office reduce the income or lower the income. So we would actually go in and tell the government, this is not the actual financial standing of this family. This is the actual one at this point. So we approve a professional judgment reduction of income, but it has to be done by the financial aid office, not by you. So please don't do that on your own. Now, what else? Let's say that you are selected for verification. What does that mean? All it means is the government would like us to check out some of the information that you entered on your FAFSA. You're not in trouble. Nobody's going to do anything to you. What we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, well, I'm a dependent, meaning I have my mom and my dad, or my mom, or somebody that takes care of me for the most part. And I'm going to be verification status 1. That's a normal standard. Pretty much everybody gets this one. So I would click on that. I download the form. I fill it out. This is a section that sometimes stumps our students because it indicates here that it says include the space below information about any household member excluding the parents who is or will be enrolled less than half time in a degree or diploma or certificate at an eligible post-secondary educational institution at any time between July 1st, 2020 and June 30th, 2021. Now, it says excluding parents. What that means is you don't include parents as part of going to college, but you need to complete everybody living in the household. So the first one would be you, the student. Then it would be mom, dad, brother, sister, whoever lives in your house. You list all the names. If you need additional room, then you can just always add a separate sheet. And then if they're going to school. Now, why do we ask that? Because the federal government asks that on the FAFSA. They identify, okay, how many of you live in the house? How many of you will be in college? So it's how many brothers and sisters will be in college. If it's just you, then it's 1. If it's you and your brother or you and your sister, then it's 2. What that does is it lowers the expected family contribution, or the number that we use to determine how much and what type of financial aid we can give you. But there's no way to verify this on the tax return because you don't identify who's going to school. So that's why they make us get this verification worksheet. So you complete that. And then as you come down here, very simple. There's always some errors made here, so I want to kind of go through it. If you've used the data retrieval tool, meaning you're in the FAFSA and you're able to transfer data from the IRS into the FAFSA, then you're going to, this is the student information, you're going to check on this box, and that's it. That's all you do. Don't do anything else. And then if I'm a dependent, which in this case, the form it is, let's say I came here, but mom and dad, we were unable to use the data retrieval. And we're just having trouble, so we just entered in the numbers ourselves. Then you would check this box right here, and then check here if you're going to provide a copy of a signed tax return. That's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. And then at the end of this form, you would go down here and you would sign it. Mom or dad would sign it, date it, and you get this along with the copies of the tax returns back to our office. So there may be some questions. Okay, well, are y'all open? Are you closed? The Student Services Center, or in the Harbin Center, we are open in the financial aid office on the second floor. But what you do is you come in, you sign in, and then we'll call you up into a room called the Ritama room. There's a virtual person on a screen that will collect information from you, ask you to put it in either a mailbox, and we'll pick it up later. But little by little, the campus is starting to open. We do allow for students to come in and handle their business here. Now, let's say, you know what, I don't want to come to campus. How else can I get it to you? You can put it in the mail. You can mail it to us. So whatever you need to do to get it, get it to us. I mean, we don't prefer email, only because sometimes social security numbers or some more information, sensitive data that you're emailing, so we kind of don't prefer that. The choice, we may allow for you to scan and email those documents to us, but just the financial aid office is here. We're here to help. We're here. The goal for faster, more efficient, so that way you guys have an idea. Okay, this is, I'm going to enroll in this many classes. This is what's going to cost. This is how much financial aid I have. And I'm going to Del Mar College every single time. Now, our award, what would I do next? Well, you would come and click on here to WebDMC. You would log in as an employee, but you would come in here and log in. A checklist, okay? Financial aid checklist basically identifies, okay, am I missing anything? What's going on? And then you would click on View My Financial Aid Award. You would click on that and it'll show you how much you've been awarded. Now, if you're getting a Pell Grant, because it's free money, we're automatically going to accept that for you, okay? But sometimes, in addition to Pell, you get a state grant called a Texas Education Opportunities Grant. That one, you're going to have to make the decision. Do I want more grant money? Of course I want more grant money. I love free money. The more free money, the better. But in addition to that, once you accept it, there's going to be a form that's required to be submitted. A lot of students just say yes, yes, yes to the free stuff, and then they're good. No. TEOG requires one more form called a Texas Grant Statement of Eligibility. We have to have that. And I'm not going to go into all the details, but when you read it, you'll see why we have to have it. You mark a box, sign it, and you get it back to us. All that does is allow us to release more grant money to you. And in addition to all that, there's a lot of money called from the emergency relief funds that the federal government has issued out to Del Mar College. So we're going to have more financial opportunities for you. So bottom line, the goal here is apply, 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 and we will do our best to give you as much free money as possible. So sky's the limit. Is there a potential, even if I'm not a district student, to have all my classes paid for with and have money left over for books? There's a really like 99% chance that is a possibility. Now, of course, you have to be Pell eligible, but if you are, our goal here is to try to give you one federal, one state grant, one of each, and then if we can, even additional federal resources to help you finance your education. But it's really important. If you don't apply, you'll never know how much free money you can get. So please, if you need help, like I said, we have a video on our website that'll show you step by step how to fill out the FAFSA. We will have virtual financial aid workshops. We also even have some more in-person financial aid workshops that we're working on having here, as long as we can keep everybody safe and social distancing and all that good stuff. So there's going to be a bunch of opportunities if you haven't done your FAFSA yet. But my recommendation is, if you have not talked, also, counselors, if you can, reach out to your students, which I know you do. They're probably bombarded, but I know there's students that are virtual, students that are on campus. So I know it's been a really, really tough challenge. I mean, I have 3 children of my own, so I know exactly what you're going through. It's been rough. But whatever we can do as financial aid office at Del Mar College to maybe help. We have Kayla Lopez, our outreach advisor. She can do a virtual financial aid night if you want to start talking to your juniors about, okay, what do I do next? How do I get ready? Because I'm sure everybody's kind of aware for your next class, your senior class. As per state law, there will be required to complete a FAFSA application. So that's going to be interesting, an interesting turn of events. So we're here to service that, whatever we can do to help. Of course, we'd love as many students as possible to come to Del Mar College, but we understand that's not realistic. So we're willing to help as long as you will give us a consideration, as long as we'll be part of that second phase plan. If for some reason life happens and you can't take off to the University of Texas or take off to College Station because you need to stay home for a year or something, we would love to have you come to Del Mar College. So with that said, I mean, I'd like to maybe open the floor if there's any questions that you might have, or anything I didn't cover that you'd like to know about.
I did have one, and of course, there is a chat feature. It's either going to be across your chest area or up at the top corner, depending on which app you're in, and it's the little message bubble. So if you click on that, you can go ahead and post your questions. But I did have one that's related to financial aid, but kind of separate, and that was the Del Mar College Foundation Scholarship. I know that the deadline is next week. Did you have any information you could add, or the website you could show us for that?
Sure. It is next week. That's definitely, that's correct. But what I can tell you is what we've been told is they're thinking of extending that particular deadline. But let me go out to the website. So just always understand delmar.edu, and then I come here to current student, bunch of different opportunities at looking for information. So what I'm going to go is I'm going to look for a scholarships link, which, if my memory doesn't fail me, I believe, I thought it was right here, scholarships. So if I come here, I come here to the scholarship. This is the main scholarship webpage. And if I come here, apply for scholarships, it says April 30th, but what we're being told is they're probably going to extend that deadline, but still, you don't want to wait to the last minute. You definitely want to, because of course, early bird gets the worm. That's always been the old adage. I know it's a little corny, but definitely it's very important that you get your applications in. So you would just click on here. It's really simple. Everything's automated. Everything's online. You would, if it's your first time here, set up your password. They'll send you an email, and then you're gone. You're going to go out, you complete the application, you submit a little essay, and then they submit, and they're going to, and basically the whole intent of the scholarship office is to give you the best scholarship possible. So they'll take your application, and if the Del Mar Foundation Scholarship is the best one for you, that's the one you're going to get. Or if there's another particular scholarship or another type, they're going to try to get you the best one that you qualify for. But the number one thing is you have to apply. So yes, April 30th is the deadline, but from what I'm being told, they're thinking of extending that deadline a little bit. I think COVID has maybe kept students a little leery or concerned, where do we go from here? But definitely, we want you to know that your safety and our safety here at Del Mar College is really, really important. So we're not gonna do anything to put that in jeopardy. So a lot of questions have arisen. When are y'all coming back to campus? As of right now, I can't tell you there's a guarantee one way or the other, but there's a possibility of maybe in the fall. That's the hope. We'll have a little bit more student availability on campus here. West Campus is pretty much open because it's a lot of hands-on programs. So more than likely that's the case. So scholarship deadline for today is on the 30th, but they could be extending that deadline. But that shouldn't mean anything to you. Definitely want to get that application in just as soon as possible.
Thank you. So at this time, I don't see any chat questions. So if you're with us today, you're more than welcome to turn on your mic and ask any questions you may have. Okay. So I believe that's going to go ahead and wrap us up today then. So thank you very much, Mr. Luis, for being with us today. And we want to thank all of our counselors, community partners, parents, and students who joined us as well. This is being recorded. So if you were not able to join us today, you will be getting the recording. So feel free to contact us. You can contact us at enroll@delmar.edu. And we'll be more than happy to transfer your emails if we're not able to answer it to any of our Lunch and Learn department presenters. So we thank you all for joining us today, and financial aid is an incredibly important part of the enrollment process. So please encourage your students to get their applications in as soon as possible. Thank you all very much, and we will see you in 2 weeks for our next Lunch and Learn, which will focus on our West Campus program.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.